explain how cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT) can be applied in rehabilitation counseling to address a client's negative thought patterns related to their disability. Provide examples of specific techniques used. Answer: cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT) is highly effective in rehabilitation counseling for helping clients address negative thought patterns that may emerge after disability. The core principle of CBT is that thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are interconnected, and changing maladaptive thought patterns can lead to changes in emotions and behaviors. In the context of disability counseling, clients may struggle with thoughts such as "I'm useless" or "I'll never be independent again," which can lead to depression or avoidance behaviors. Specific CBT techniques that can be applied include cognitive restructuring, helping the client identify rational or maladaptive thoughts and replace them with more balanced, realistic thoughts. Behavioral activation, encouraging clients to engage in positive activities that challenge their negative beliefs, e.g., taking on new hobbies or tasks within their capability. Thought stopping, teaching clients how to interrupt negative thought spirals by using mental or physical cues, e.g., saying a stop aloud or snapping a rubber band on their wrist. In rehabilitation, a counselor might work with the client to challenge the belief, "I'll never be independent again," by helping them create a step-by-step plan to regain some level of independence, e.g., mastering assistive devices. Relevant guidelines. CBT is a widely accepted approach in disability and mental health counseling, supported by research in behavioral psychology and evidence-based interventions. Discuss the role of active listening, empathy, and validation in building a therapeutic rapport with clients in rehabilitation counseling. Why are these skills critical for client outcomes? Answer: active listening, empathy, and validation are foundational techniques in building therapeutic rapport, which is critical for client engagement and positive outcomes in rehabilitation counseling. Active listening involves giving full attention to the client, reflecting on their words, and responding in a way that demonstrates understanding. This creates a space where the client feels heard and respected, which is particularly important when they are adjusting to a new or chronic disability. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of the client. Demonstrating empathy helps the client feel that the counselor genuinely cares about their experience, fostering trust. Validation means acknowledging and affirming the client's feelings and experiences. For instance, telling a client, "It's understandable that you feel frustrated about your current limitations," helps them feel that their emotional response is normal and acceptable. These skills are critical because they create a supportive environment that encourages clients to openly discuss their challenges and work towards solutions. Mr. Daniels is a 45-year-old man who recently became paraplegic following a car accident. He has been attending counseling sessions but expresses frustration and anger in each session, stating, "I can't accept that I'll never walk again. What's the point in trying to live this way?" What counseling techniques could be used to help Mr. Daniels adjust to his new reality? Answer: in Mr. Daniels' case, several counseling techniques could be utilized to help him process and adjust to his disability. Cognitive restructuring (CBT) work with Mr. Daniels to challenge and reframe his negative thought pattern over what's the point in trying. This can involve exploring what he values in life and how he can still pursue meaningful activities even with his new limitations. Motivational interviewing. Use open-ended questions and reflective listening to guide Mr. Daniels toward recognizing the importance of adapting to his new reality. Questions like, "What are some things that you still enjoy and can work towards?" can help shift his focus. Validation of feelings. Acknowledge his anger and frustration as normal reactions to his loss. Letting Mr. Daniels know that his emotional response is valid can reduce his sense of isolation. Goal setting. Collaboratively set small, achievable goals to give Mr. Daniels a sense of progress and control, e.g., learning how to use a wheelchair, gaining independence in daily tasks. Relevant guidelines. The Kubler-Ross model, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance, helps counselors understand emotional responses to life-altering situations like disability. Describe the stages of group development: forming, storming, norming, performing in the context of group counseling for clients with disabilities. How can understanding these stages enhance group dynamics? Answer: understanding the stages of group development is crucial for facilitating effective group counseling. Forming. In this initial stage, group members are often polite but unsure of their role. Within the group, the facilitator must establish a safe, welcoming environment. Storming. Conflicts or disagreements may arise as members begin to express themselves more freely. This is a critical stage where the facilitator should manage conflicts constructively and encourage open communication, norming. As conflicts are resolved, the group starts to function more cohesively, with members supporting each other and accepting the group's norms. Performing, the group becomes fully functional and productive, with members working collaboratively towards their goals. At this stage, members often share more personal insights and provide meaningful feedback. By understanding these stages, the counselor can guide the group through challenging phases, e.g., storming, and help them reach the performing stage where they are most likely to achieve therapeutic goals. What are some common psychological responses to disability, and how can a rehabilitation counselor assist clients in moving from denial to acceptance? Answer: common psychological responses to disability include denial, the refusal to accept the disability as real or significant; anger, frustration or resentment about the limitations imposed by the disability; bargaining, attempting to negotiate a return to the pre-disability state, e.g. through medical interventions; depression, feelings of sadness, hopelessness or withdrawal; acceptance, coming to terms with the disability and finding ways to live a meaningful life. A rehabilitation counselor can assist in moving clients from denial to acceptance by providing psychoeducation, helping clients understand the stages of adjustment and normalizing their feelings; goal setting, establishing small, achievable goals that promote a sense of agency; therapeutic techniques, e.g. CBT, person-centered therapy. These help clients challenge maladaptive beliefs and embrace their new reality; support systems, encouraging participation in support groups where clients can learn from others with similar experiences. Explain the application of motivational interviewing in rehabilitation counseling. How can MI enhance client outcomes when addressing behavioral change? Answer: motivational interviewing is a client-centered, directive method for enhancing intrinsic motivation to change by exploring and resolving ambivalence. In rehabilitation counseling, MI is particularly useful for clients who may be hesitant or resistant to change behaviors that support their recovery and adaptation. Key principles of MI include expressing empathy, using reflective listening to convey understanding of the client's feelings and experiences, which helps build rapport; developing discrepancy, helping clients recognize the gap between their current behaviors and their broader goals or values, e.g. wanting to be active versus sedentary, or rolling with resistance. Rather than confronting clients directly, MI encourages them to express their thoughts and feelings, allowing them to find their reasons for change; supporting self-efficacy, encouraging clients to believe in their ability to change, emphasizing their strengths and past successes. In practice, a counselor might ask open-ended questions like, what are some things you enjoy that you feel you could do more of? This approach fosters a collaborative atmosphere, enhancing client engagement and commitment to behavioral change. Relevant guidelines. MI is backed by research and is considered an evidence-based practice in behavioral health settings, as outlined in the Journal of Substance Abuse Treatment. Discuss the importance of goal setting and progress tracking in rehabilitation counseling. What techniques can counselors use to effectively implement these practices? Answer: goal setting and progress tracking are vital components of rehabilitation counseling, as they provide structure and direction for both the counselor and the client. Effective goals are SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, ensuring clarity and feasibility. Techniques for implementing goal setting and progress tracking include collaborative goal setting, involving clients in the process of defining their goals ensures they are motivated and personally relevant. This can include using worksheets that outline short-term and long-term goals. Visual tracking tools, charts or graphs can be used to visually represent progress, helping clients see their achievements over time. For instance, tracking the number of successful outings for a client adjusting to wheelchair use. Regular review sessions. Establishing periodic reviews of goals allows clients and counselors to discuss progress, make adjustments as needed, and celebrate successes, reinforcing the client's motivation. Feedback mechanisms. Providing constructive feedback on progress encourages clients to stay engaged and committed to their goals. MS Rodriguez, a 32-year-old woman with multiple sclerosis, is experiencing significant fatigue and mobility issues that affect her daily activities. She expresses feelings of hopelessness and states, "I don't see the point in trying to manage my condition if it's only going to get worse." As a rehabilitation counselor, what strategies would you implement to assist her in coping with her situation and fostering a more positive outlook? Answer: to assist MS Rodriguez in coping with her situation and fostering a positive outlook, the following strategies can be employed. Psychoeducation. Provide information about multiple sclerosis, its progression, and management strategies. Understanding her condition can help demystify her experience and reduce fear. Cognitive behavioral techniques work with her to identify and challenge negative thoughts. See, G, it's only going to get worse by replacing them with more balanced thoughts. See, G, there are ways to manage my symptoms and improve my quality of life. Setting small, achievable goals. Collaboratively set small, attainable goals related to managing her condition. E. G. Developing a daily routine that includes energy conservation techniques. Promoting self-management. Teach self-management skills such as fatigue management techniques, exercise adapted to her capabilities, and mindfulness practices that can help her cope with anxiety and promote relaxation. Building a support network. Encourage participation in support groups where she can share experiences and connect with others facing similar challenges. What are some effective group facilitation techniques for managing dynamics in rehabilitation counseling groups? Discuss the implications of these techniques on group outcomes. Answer: effective group facilitation techniques are essential for managing dynamics in rehabilitation counseling groups, fostering a safe and productive environment for all members. Key techniques include establishing group norms, setting clear expectations regarding participation, confidentiality, and respect from the outset encourages a supportive atmosphere, active listening, and reflection. Facilitators should model these skills to create an environment where all participants feel heard and validated, encouraging open communication, encouraging participation. Using techniques such as round-robin sharing or small group discussions can help quieter members engage without feeling overwhelmed. Addressing conflicts directly when disagreements arise. The facilitator should intervene to facilitate constructive dialogue, helping members express their perspectives while respecting differing opinions. Utilizing feedback loops. Periodically checking in with group members about the group's process allows for adjustments to be made based on their needs and experiences. Analyze the psychological and emotional aspects of adjusting to a chronic illness or disability. How can counselors effectively support clients through this adjustment process? Answer: adjusting to a chronic illness or disability involves a complex interplay of psychological and emotional responses, including cognitive appraisal. Clients may struggle with understanding the implications of their condition and how it affects their identity and life goals. Emotional responses. Common feelings include grief for the loss of previous abilities, anxiety about the future, and depression related to changing roles and expectations. Social dynamics. Clients may experience changes in relationships, including isolation from friends or family who do not understand their experiences. Counselors can support clients through this adjustment process by creating a safe space for expression. Allowing clients to share their thoughts and feelings without judgment encourages emotional processing and healing. Utilizing strength-based approaches. Helping clients identify their strengths and coping strategies reinforces their resilience and capacity to adapt. Integrating mindfulness and stress reduction techniques. These approaches can help clients manage anxiety and foster a sense of control over their situation. What are the key considerations for developing a rehabilitation plan for a client with a traumatic brain injury (TB)? Answer: when developing a rehabilitation plan for a client with a traumatic brain injury (TBI), several factors need to be considered. Cognitive impairments. TB often affect memory, attention, and executive functioning. The rehabilitation plan should address these cognitive deficits through targeted therapies such as cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT), memory aids, and occupational therapy focused on enhancing problem-solving and organizational skills. Emotional and behavioral challenges. Clients with TBI may experience emotional instability, mood swings, or difficulty controlling impulses. Incorporating mental health counseling and strategies for managing frustration and emotional regulation is essential. Physical disabilities. TB may lead to motor control issues, so physical therapy is crucial to improve strength, coordination, and mobility. Adaptive equipment may be needed if the client has persistent physical limitations. Family involvement. The family plays a critical role in supporting rehabilitation. Providing education and resources to the family on how to assist the client in regaining independence can enhance outcomes. Environmental modifications. The client may require adjustments to their home or workplace to accommodate any new physical or cognitive limitations. This includes modifying physical environments or offering assistive technologies like speech recognition software. Long-term care. Due to the possibility of ongoing impairments, long-term care planning should be considered, including vocational rehabilitation services to help the client re-enter the workforce if feasible. Legal guidelines such as the Americans with Disabilities Act (ADA) must be considered in ensuring the client has access to necessary accommodations in the workplace and public environments. Mr. Thompson is a 40-year-old man who has recently been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. He has struggled with maintaining employment due to episodes of depression and mania. His employer has contacted you, a rehabilitation counselor, for guidance on how to accommodate him at work. What steps should you recommend to the employer to support Mr. Thompson while adhering to ADA requirements? Answer: in this scenario, the following steps should be recommended to the employer to ensure compliance with the ADA and to support Mr. Thompson. Flexible scheduling. Allow for a flexible work schedule to accommodate fluctuations in energy and mood. This could include modified hours during depressive episodes or remote work options. Clear task assignments. Provide clear, structured tasks with regular feedback, as individuals with bipolar disorder may struggle with focus and task completion, especially during manic episodes. Private workspace. Creating a quiet, private workspace can help reduce stress and overstimulation, which may trigger manic or depressive episodes. Mental health days. Allow for mental health days or leaves of absence as stipulated under the Family and Medical Leave Act (FLA) to manage more severe episodes. Access to employee assistance programs (EAP). Encourage Mr. Thompson to use any available counseling or therapy services through an AP to support his mental health. How do cognitive impairments such as memory loss and attention deficits impact vocational rehabilitation outcomes for individuals with schizophrenia? Answer: cognitive impairments, including memory loss and attention deficits, are common in individuals with schizophrenia and significantly impact vocational rehabilitation outcomes. Memory loss. Clients may struggle to retain new information or follow complex instructions, making it difficult to learn new job skills or perform tasks that require detailed memory recall. Vocational training may need to involve repetitive learning techniques and memory aids, e.g., digital reminders or task lists. Attention deficits. Sustained attention and concentration are often impaired, which affects job performance, particularly in environments that require focus on multiple tasks or attention to detail. Job placements should consider roles with minimal distractions or shorter, segmented tasks. Rehabilitation programs should include cognitive remediation therapy (CRT) to address these impairments, alongside supported employment services that provide continuous job coaching and supervision. Explain how diabetes can affect an individual's ability to engage in employment and daily activities. What role does a rehabilitation counselor play in this context? Answer: diabetes can impact an individual's employment and daily activities in several ways. Physical effects. Fluctuating blood sugar levels can lead to fatigue, dizziness, or difficulty concentrating, which may affect job performance and the ability to carry out daily tasks. If diabetes is poorly controlled, complications such as neuropathy or vision impairment may further limit functional capacity. Medical appointments. Regular medical checkups, blood glucose monitoring, and insulin administration can interfere with a consistent work schedule or daily routine. Dietary and rest breaks. Individuals with diabetes often need to maintain a strict eating schedule and may require additional breaks during the workday to monitor blood sugar or administer insulin. A rehabilitation counselor assists by helping the client and employer develop a reasonable accommodation plan under the ADA. This can include flexible scheduling for medical appointments, additional breaks for glucose monitoring, and access to nutritious snacks during work hours. What are the legal and ethical considerations when working with clients who have HIV AIDS in a rehabilitation setting? Answer: working with clients who have HIV AIDS in a rehabilitation setting involves several legal and ethical considerations. Confidentiality. Under the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA, a client's HIV/AIDS status must be kept confidential. Disclosure without the client's consent is a violation of federal law. Non-discrimination. The Americans with Disabilities Act (ADA) protects individuals with HIV/AIDS from discrimination in employment. Rehabilitation counselors must ensure that clients are not unfairly treated or denied reasonable accommodations due to their diagnosis. Stigma reduction. Counselors should actively work to reduce stigma, ensuring that both the client and the community understand that HIV/AIDS is a manageable condition with proper treatment. Counseling and education. Clients may need counseling to address the emotional and psychological challenges of living with HIV/AIDS, and education on treatment adherence and health maintenance may be necessary to promote functional independence. Ms. Garcia, a 35-year-old woman with cerebral palsy, works as an administrative assistant but is facing difficulty with transportation to and from work due to her disability. Her employer is unsure how to assist her. What should Ms. Garcia and her employer consider to address this situation under the ADA? Answer: to address Ms. Garcia's transportation challenges under the ADA, the following steps should be taken. Flexible work hours or remote work. Ms. Garcia's employer could offer flexible work hours to accommodate public transportation schedules or provide the option to work remotely if the nature of her job allows it. Transportation assistance. The employer could consider providing transportation assistance, such as a company-sponsored shuttle service or coordinating with local paratransit services designed for individuals with disabilities. Workplace relocation. If possible, relocating MS. Garcia to an office closer to her home or to a location with better access to public transportation might be considered as a reasonable accommodation. Telecommuting options. If transportation continues to be a barrier, full or partial telecommuting might be an appropriate accommodation, provided the administrative duties can be performed remotely. Discuss the functional implications of mobility limitations for individuals with spinal cord injuries (SI) and how rehabilitation can support improving their independence. Answer: the functional implications of mobility limitations for individuals with spinal cord injuries (SI) can vary depending on the severity and location of the injury. Mobility impairments. Individuals with SCI may experience partial or complete paralysis affecting their ability to walk, transfer, or use their upper limbs. Depending on the injury, clients may need wheelchairs or assistive devices for mobility. Daily living activities. Basic activities such as dressing, bathing, and toileting can become difficult or impossible without assistance or adaptive equipment. Rehabilitation's role. Rehabilitation aims to improve independence through physical therapy to strengthen muscles, occupational therapy to teach adaptive techniques, and the use of assistive technology, e.g., electric wheelchairs, voice-activated controls. Therapists also focus on helping individuals develop skills to navigate their environments and regain control of essential life activities. How can the concept of universal design help mitigate environmental barriers for individuals with disabilities? Answer: universal design refers to the creation of environments and products that are accessible to all individuals, regardless of ability or disability. Key principles include equitable use. Environments should be usable by people with diverse abilities. For instance, automatic doors or wide hallways allow both individuals with and without mobility impairments to access buildings equally. Flexibility. Designs should accommodate a wide range of individual preferences and abilities. For example, adjustable height workstations can serve people of different heights, including wheelchair users. Simple and intuitive use. Products or environments should be easy to understand, regardless of the user's experience or cognitive ability. By integrating these principles, universal design can remove many physical and attitudinal barriers, making spaces more inclusive for individuals with disabilities. How can rehabilitation counselors support clients with intellectual disabilities in overcoming social and attitudinal barriers in the workplace? Answer: rehabilitation counselors can implement several strategies to support clients with intellectual disabilities in navigating social and attitudinal barriers in the workplace. Workplace education programs. Implement training programs for employers and coworkers to raise awareness about intellectual disabilities. These programs can debunk myths, promote inclusivity, and provide practical guidance on how to support colleagues with disabilities. Individualized support plans. Create tailored support plans that consider the unique strengths and challenges of each client. These plans may include specific job coaching, social skills training, or workplace modifications that enhance the client's success. Peer mentorship. Establish a peer mentorship program that pairs clients with intellectual disabilities with mentors in the workplace. This approach can help clients build relationships, gain confidence, and improve their social skills in a supportive environment. Advocacy for accommodations. Act as an advocate for clients to secure necessary accommodations under the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, ensuring that workplaces are adapted to meet their needs, e.g., flexible scheduling, modified job tasks, skill development workshops. Organize workshops focused on developing soft skills such as communication, teamwork, and problem solving. These skills are essential for workplace success and can improve clients' interactions with coworkers. Fostering inclusion initiatives. Collaborate with employers to develop initiatives that promote inclusion, such as diversity training, inclusive hiring practices, and the establishment of employee resource groups for individuals with disabilities. What role does cultural competence play in rehabilitation counseling, and how can counselors ensure they provide culturally sensitive services? Answer: cultural competence is crucial in rehabilitation counseling as it enables counselors to understand and respect diverse backgrounds, values, and beliefs, thereby improving client outcomes. Here are key aspects of cultural competence and how counselors can ensure they provide culturally sensitive services. Understanding cultural diversity. Counselors should familiarize themselves with various cultural practices, languages, and values that may influence a client's perceptions of disability and rehabilitation. This knowledge helps in tailoring interventions to align with the client's cultural context. Self-reflection. Counselors need to engage in self-reflection to understand their own cultural biases and how these might impact their practice. This awareness is vital for providing equitable services. Building trust. Establishing a trusting relationship with clients is essential. Counselors should actively listen to clients' concerns, validate their experiences, and demonstrate empathy toward their cultural backgrounds. Collaboration with community resources. Counselors should connect clients with community resources and support groups that respect and reflect their cultural values. This approach enhances the client's sense of belonging and support. Training and professional development. Pursuing ongoing education and training in cultural competence can help counselors stay informed about the best practices for serving diverse populations. Adapting assessment tools. Counselors should use assessment tools and intervention strategies that are culturally appropriate and relevant, ensuring they do not inadvertently disadvantage clients from different backgrounds. What are the key provisions of the Americans with Disabilities Act (ADA) that impact employment practices, and how should an employer accommodate individuals with disabilities according to this act? Answer: the Americans with Disabilities Act (ADA) is a civil rights law that prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities in all areas of public life, including employment. Key provisions affecting employment include: Title I of the ADA covers employment and applies to employers with 15 or more employees. It mandates that employers must provide reasonable accommodations to qualified employees or applicants with disabilities unless it would cause an undue hardship. Employers are prohibited from making employment decisions based on a person's disability. Employers cannot ask about the nature or extent of a disability in a job interview. However, they can ask if an applicant can perform the essential job functions with or without accommodation. Reasonable accommodations may include changes to work schedules, making facilities accessible, job restructuring, acquiring or modifying equipment, and providing interpreters or other assistive technology. An undue hardship is defined as an accommodation that is significantly difficult or expensive relative to the size, resources, and nature of the employer's business. Employers must also engage in an interactive process to identify appropriate accommodations that would enable the employee to perform the essential functions of the job. Relevant legislation. Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, ADA, Title I. Mr. Anderson is a qualified candidate for a data analysis position at a financial firm. During the interview, he discloses that he has a visual impairment and requests the use of specialized screen reader software to perform the job functions. The company is concerned about the cost and possible disruption from installing this software. As the rehabilitation counselor, what advice should you give Mr. Anderson about his rights under the ADA, and how should the employer handle this request? Answer: under the ADA, Mr. Anderson has the right to request reasonable accommodations, such as specialized screen reader software, that would allow him to perform the essential functions of the job. The employer is obligated to provide such an accommodation unless it can demonstrate that doing so would cause an undue hardship, e.g., significant cost or operational disruption. However, courts typically assess undue hardship based on factors like the employer's size, financial resources, and the cost of the accommodation relative to the company's budget. A large financial firm is unlikely to successfully argue that the cost of screen reader software is an undue hardship. Mr. Anderson can also request the employer to engage in an interactive process to find a suitable accommodation, possibly even a lower cost alternative, if that would still allow him to perform the job effectively. Relevant legislation. Americans with Disabilities Act (ADA) Title I. Explain the main differences between Social Security Disability Insurance (SDI) and Supplemental Security Income (SSI), and how does each program determine eligibility for individuals with disabilities? Answer: SSDI and SSI are both federal programs providing financial assistance to individuals with disabilities, but they differ in eligibility criteria and benefits. SDI eligibility, based on a person's work history. To qualify, individuals must have earned enough work credits through paying Social Security taxes, FICA, and be considered disabled under Social Security's definition. Benefit amount, based on the individual's average lifetime earnings prior to disability. Waiting period, there is a 5-month waiting period before benefits are paid. Health coverage. SSDI recipients are eligible for Medicare after 24 months of receiving benefits. SSI eligibility, Based on financial need rather than work history, it is designed for individuals who are disabled, blind, or aged 65 or older and who have very limited income and resources. Benefit amount: a set federal rate with some state supplements, no waiting period. SSI benefits can be paid as soon as the individual qualifies. Health coverage: SSI recipients typically qualify for Medicaid immediately. Both programs require that applicants demonstrate that they meet the Social Security Administration's definition of disability, which is the inability to engage in substantial gainful activity (SGA) due to a medical condition expected to last at least 1 year or result in death. Relevant programs: Social Security Disability Insurance (SSDI), Upper Mental Security Income (SSI). Under the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, WIOA, what role do vocational rehabilitation (VR) services play in helping individuals with disabilities achieve employment, and what are the key components of a VR service plan? Answer: the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act (WIOA) provides funding for vocational rehabilitation (VR) services which aim to help individuals with disabilities prepare for, obtain, retain, or advance in employment. VR services are a key component of the state federal vocational rehabilitation program and focus on empowering individuals with disabilities to achieve long-term employment outcomes. Key components of a VR service plan include eligibility determination. Individuals must be determined eligible for VR services based on their disability and their need for services to achieve employment. Individualized plan for employment. Once eligible, a counselor works with the individual to develop an IP which outlines the services, goals, and steps needed to achieve competitive integrated employment. The IP is tailored to the individual's unique strengths, resources, priorities, and vocational interests. Range of services. VR services can include career counseling, job training, job placement, education, assistive technology, and workplace accommodations. VR services focus on providing individuals with informed choice, allowing them to make decisions about their career goals and the types of services they receive. What are the rights of individuals with disabilities under Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, and how does it apply to educational institutions? Answer: Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 is a civil rights law that prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities in any program or activity receiving federal financial assistance, including educational institutions. Key rights under Section 504 include non-discrimination. Schools and other entities must provide individuals with disabilities an equal opportunity to access services and benefits, which includes making accommodations as needed. Reasonable accommodations. In an educational setting, schools must provide appropriate accommodations, e.g. extended test time, modified curricula, accessible classrooms to ensure that students with disabilities can participate fully in academic and extracurricular activities. FAP. Free appropriate public education. Section 504 requires that eligible students with disabilities be provided with a FAP, which is designed to meet their individual educational needs as adequately as the needs of non-disabled students are met. Educational institutions must have a 504 plan for eligible students outlining the specific accommodations and supports required for their educational success. Ms. Franken, a 35-year-old with a physical disability, has been denied services at an independent living center (ILC) because her disability was considered not severe enough. She feels this decision violates her rights under federal disability policy. What steps can Ms. Franken take to advocate for her rights, and what responsibilities do ILCS have under federal law to provide services to individuals with disabilities? Answer: Independent living centers (ILCs) are community-based organizations that are designed to provide services to individuals with all types of disabilities. Under federal disability policy, including the Rehabilitation Act, ILCS are required to promote independent living and self-sufficiency for individuals with disabilities, regardless of the severity of the disability. Ms. Franklin can appeal the decision. She should request a formal review of the ILC's decision citing the non-discrimination provisions under the Rehabilitation Act. File a complaint. If the denial persists, she can file a complaint with the appropriate state or federal agencies, such as the Office for Civil Rights (OR), for a violation of her rights under Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. Advocate for services. Ms. Franklin can request assistance from a disability rights advocacy organization to help her navigate the complaint process and advocate for her right to access ILC services. ILCS must provide services in an equitable manner, and they are required to support the needs of individuals with disabilities regardless of the severity of their impairments. Discuss the implications of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, particularly Sections 504 and 508 for individuals with disabilities in the workplace. How do these sections ensure access and equality? Answer: the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 is a significant piece of legislation that has several critical components impacting individuals with disabilities, particularly Sections 504 and 508. Section 504. Non-discrimination. This section prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities in programs and activities that receive federal financial assistance. It ensures that individuals are not excluded from participation in any program solely on the basis of their disability. Reasonable accommodations. Employers and institutions must provide reasonable accommodations to qualified individuals with disabilities, ensuring equal opportunity in employment and access to programs. This might include modifications in the workplace, adjustments to job requirements, or provision of assistive technology. Section 508. Access to electronic information. This section requires that federal agencies make their electronic and information technology accessible to people with disabilities. This includes websites, software, and other electronic formats. Impact on employment. For individuals with disabilities, Section 508 ensures they have equal access to information and communication technologies, which is crucial for performing job functions and engaging in workplace communications. Together, these sections of the Rehabilitation Act create a framework that promotes equal access, non-discrimination, and reasonable accommodation, ultimately aiming to enhance employment opportunities for individuals with disabilities. Relevant legislation. Rehabilitation Act of 1973, Sections 504 and 508. Mr. Green, who has a history of mental health challenges, has been dismissed from his job without clear justification. He believes that his dismissal was related to his disability and that his employer did not engage in the required interactive process to accommodate his needs. What legal protections does Mr. Green have under the ADA and the Rehabilitation Act, and what steps should he take to address his dismissal? Answer: Mr. Green is protected under the Americans with Disabilities Act (ADA) and the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. These laws prohibit discrimination based on disability and require employers to engage in an interactive process to determine appropriate accommodations. Steps Mr. Green should take include documentation. Gather all relevant documentation, including his medical records related to his disability, any communication with his employer regarding accommodations, and details surrounding his dismissal. File a complaint. He should file a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission (EOC) within 180 days of the dismissal, citing discrimination based on disability. The EEOC can investigate the claim and determine if there are grounds for further action, request reinstatement or compensation. Depending on the outcome of the EEOC investigation, Mr. Green may seek reinstatement to his position or compensation for damages suffered due to the unlawful dismissal. Legal consultation. Consulting with an attorney who specializes in employment law and disability rights can help Mr. Green navigate his rights and options more effectively. What role do independent living centers (ILCs) play in promoting disability rights and self-determination, and what services do they typically provide to individuals with disabilities? Answer: independent living centers (ILCs) are community-based organizations designed to empower individuals with disabilities to live independently and participate fully in society. Their core mission includes promoting disability rights and self-determination. Key roles and services provided by ILCS include advocacy. ILCS advocate for the rights of individuals with disabilities at local, state, and national levels, working to remove barriers and promote inclusive policies. Information and referral services. ILCS offer information about available resources, services, and programs related to independent living, including housing options, healthcare, and transportation. Skills training. They provide training in daily living skills, self-advocacy, and other areas critical for independent living, such as budgeting, cooking, and employment readiness. Peer support. ILCS facilitate peer support groups that allow individuals to share experiences and provide emotional and practical support to one another. Access services. ILCS assist with accessing personal assistance services, assistive technology, and transportation, enabling individuals with disabilities to live independently. Analyze the importance of disability awareness education in the workplace and how it aligns with the principles outlined in the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act (WIOA). Answer: disability awareness education in the workplace is critical for fostering an inclusive environment that promotes understanding, respect, and collaboration among all employees, including those with disabilities. It plays a significant role in aligning with the principles of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, which emphasizes the integration of individuals with disabilities into the workforce. Importance of disability awareness education. Reducing stigma. Education helps dispel myths and misconceptions about disabilities, reducing stigma and fostering a more inclusive workplace culture. Promoting inclusivity. Awareness training ensures that all employees understand the rights of individuals with disabilities and the importance of accommodating diverse needs, ultimately leading to a more equitable work environment. Enhancing collaboration. By fostering an understanding of different abilities, disability awareness education encourages teamwork and collaboration, leveraging the strengths of all employees. Legal compliance. Organizations that implement effective disability awareness programs are more likely to comply with federal laws, including the ADA and WIOA, which mandate non-discrimination and reasonable accommodations. Under WIOA, workforce development programs are required to promote the inclusion of individuals with disabilities in the labor market. This includes providing training and resources for employers to understand the benefits of hiring individuals with disabilities and how to create supportive work environments. Relevant legislation. Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, where Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA,